Let's take a quick look at the Angular.net project layout. Inside the www.root folder is everything that will be published. Inside the app folder are all the source files that are specific for this application. It is interesting to realize that these files are only necessary for development. What I mean to say is that once they are bundled, compressed, and you publish the application to the server, these files are no longer necessary. However, my recommendation is to keep them as they are in development, in case you decide to debug from the server. Inside the app folder, we have 3 folders. The common folder contains anything that is common across the whole app, such as the services or the animation library. Then there is the features folder. This folder contains the files needed to implement each feature. The feature corresponds to a component and is comprised of 3 or 4 files. I like the way that Visual Studio arranges these files so that they are easier to maintain. As I mentioned earlier, each component has a number of files associated with it: an HTML, a TypeScript, a CSS, and oh yes, of course, a JavaScript file. The last folder worth mentioning is the models folder, which contains the client-side view models. These classes are necessary in order to use strong typing, and each class corresponds to a server-side view model. Inside the dist folder are all the files that will be distributed to the server. It is this folder that contains the files that will be included in the application manifest. Interesting enough, this is the only folder containing the release build, and it contains the only files necessary to run the application from the server. The other folders are boilerplate folders used in development and creating the production build. Stepping back into the project folder, we have some project files. These don't get published, but instead are used for building the application. The package.json file contains all modules and libraries needed for both development and runtime. The app settings.json contains connection strings, the version number, and anything you pass to the middle layer. The gulp file, JS, contains the task used to automate and streamline the workflow. I plan to show you how to manage and debug your gulp files later in this course.